The top 3 things to avoid in today's market when flipping land. So, number 1 is the price. The price is crazy in a lot of listings out there in the market. If you're doing the traditional method of looking at the market and seeing what stuff is listed for and trying to do some fraction of that as your offer price to buy the property, I think you're not doing yourself justice. There's a lot of data on what's actually trading and what prices are happening, and I hope you go at the trading price instead of listing price, because I think a lot of the listing prices that are out there are just, they're insane. They're going after COVID times, hot inflation times, low interest rate times, and we're not. Interest rates have gone up, inflation has slowed down, the markets are not as hot as they were, the volume's dropped in lots of different ways. You just have to be more careful, more precise, more of a sniper than a machine gunist, right? At doing your deals. So, number 1, price. Don't just rely on the listing price in the marketplace to make your decisions. Number 2, mailing is always the answer. I say this with a heavy heart because I'm a big fan of sending mail. I like sending lots of mail and getting deals, off-market deals. It's beautiful to find off-market deals, and mail is a very passive way to filter through lots of people to get the motivated sellers. But I get a lot of mail too, and because I've got other properties out there and people mail me on, and especially ones sold on terms and things, they're still in my name. And I get more and more and more offers. And when I mail out offers, the replies are talking about 15 other letters they got in the mail recently. I don't know how accurate they are. I think they embellish a lot about the mail and all the offers they got. And a lot of those offers, you call them and they don't respond, or they don't call you back, or they don't actually pay. So they're not real offers, but they got offers and they like to talk about them. So I think a lot of opportunities in today's market are doing your homework, looking at what's for sale on the markets. Listings on the markets there's a lot of good deals on the markets. You can make offers without sending mail, and just look at the tons and tons of listings that are out there. There's a lot more listings out there than I've ever seen in the marketplace, and you can filter through them a lot faster and get to deals a lot faster than sending mail, waiting for the mail, or paying for the mail to go out. You could just focus in on targeting off deal by deal. You might have to be more creative with those deals, like splitting them or adding a tenant or doing some value add kind of play instead of just adding pictures. But technology has changed in today's market. You can't just add pictures and up the price on land all day long anymore. The technology of finding the properties and figuring them out is so much easier, so much better than it was when I got started. It used to be more about finding the properties on a map and showing people where it was and upping the price double or triple or something, and it made a lot of sense. But technology has made it a lot easier for everybody to do that. It's not a competitive advantage anymore. So I think adding other competitive advantages, like adding value to the property in multiple different ways, like splitting them, subdividing, or adding tenants, figuring out who should use that property, the highest and best use, is classic real estate trade that's been around forever, and I think that's much more opportune in today's markets. Third, I think there's a big fallacy. There's a lot of land teachers that have come on strong the last couple of years, which more power to them. I love the education, the information. Everybody has their own flavor of what they're teaching. And but I hear a lot of them talking about terms. Sell it on terms, collect payments over time. You can sell it for a lot more money. It sells a lot faster. Yes, that's true. I've sold hundreds of properties on terms. And what usually happens if you take smaller terms is 2 or 3 months later, the people disappear. They stop paying, or you can't find them. You can't call them, you can't write them a letter, you can't email them. There's no response all the way around. And the other people that stick around longer, they change their address 5 times over. They want to change the payment plan 5 times over. Instead of this much every month, they want a little bit less, and the next month a little bit less, and the next month a little bit less, a little bit longer time every time. They're always trying to negotiate different terms. And it becomes a full-time job if you do them in enough volume to keep up with the people that you sold them to on terms. And I believe, and I've figured over time, just by selling them for cash, it might take a little bit longer and you might not get as good of a price, but if you bought it right in the first place, you can make out really well on doing cash. And then you can take that cash and you can do another deal and another deal and another deal, and your capital doesn't get tied up in a bunch of the terms deals. And the terms guys will say, yeah, but you can sell the notes. But The cash flow is beautiful. Cash flow is nice. Turn vacant land into cash flow. Yes, but I mean, cash flow could also be the next deal and the next deal and the next deal. And it could be commercial deals. You could take properties that are vacant and put a tenant in there, whether it's an office building or a funeral parlor or a retail shop or a gas station or whatever. Take a vacant one at a vacant price, put a tenant in there, and they pay rent for a long time over time, and you keep the building and collect the rent. You're not giving them the property after 2, 3, 5, 10 years in terms payments like land. You can finance it with banks. You can resell it. You can take cash out. There's a lot more plays you can do with those kinds of assets. And it's a data dance of finding the tenants and making them happen. That's a lot like finding the next property and finding the next deal. I think there's a lot more opportunity in today's market for those kinds of plays than always just selling this stuff on terms. And so I've been focusing in on those and working on those. And if you're interested in those kinds of deals, follow along. I'll try to share more along the way and teach and answer questions. If you have questions, please throw them in the comments. And love to see you in the next video. Luke Smith, RuralVacantLand.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.